Welcome to Jammin' with Jason Mefford, a show where we discuss topics relevant to chief audit executives and professionals in audit, risk, and compliance. We discuss the technical and soft skills needed to navigate the minefields of organizations. You hear best practices and practical advice for helping you advance your career, and we'll even talk about music, mindfulness, and psychology, because we can. So sit back and relax while you listen to the #1 podcast in the world for internal auditors, unscripted and unedited. Welcome to another episode of Jamming with Jason. Hey, welcome back, my friends. Good to be back with you again in a solo episode this week. Now, this week I want to go through and talk about creating opportunity out of uncertainty. And I know, especially in internal audit, we are often taught or trained to look for the negative. But today I want to talk about looking for the opportunity. And it's important for you both personally as well as professionally. Okay, because every time that things happen, whenever events happen, there is both a threat and an opportunity side of the event. So let me give you a little example. I've been saving up for a new office chair and, have been dreaming about this new chair for a little while. And I've been saving up, thinking about it, have a picture of it up on my wall. And, have been going through, like I said, saving for this. But now what I have found as well is during this period of uncertainty, I'm not spending as much money. So for example, we don't spend nearly as much on, gasoline for our automobiles as we normally would. We're not spending as much money going out to eat as we normally would, right? And so even though we're in this time of uncertainty, I've actually been able to save up money quicker. So there was an opportunity. Now I go out to the company website to get the office chair that I want. And what else do I find? But the chair is on sale. So there's opportunity in every event. Okay. And we're going to go through and talk more about this. Because like I said, as auditors, risk managers, compliance people, you're usually trained to look for the negative. And there can be some problems with that because when we carry that over, especially into our personal life, and heck, even in our business life, it's not good to be thinking that way all the time. But it can have some detrimental effects. And so we're going to go through, talk about this, talk about how you can apply this both personally and professionally. Now, before we jump into that, though, I want to let you know about another opportunity. Okay, so just as I said, even though, many of you are probably hunkered down, in quarantine, not going into the office, working remotely, there's opportunities out there. And here is one. C-Risk Academy, which is the largest on-demand webinar and certification training platform for internal auditors, are running a sale this month, the month of April. Now, C-Risk Academy normally does not discount or provide sales on their products, but again, these are uncertain times, and this month, to help everyone out, they are offering a 50% discount on all of their courses. Now, as I said, this normally does not happen. In fact, this is the deepest discount that they would ever do. But because these are uncertain times, it creates an opportunity for you. Now, this can actually mean literally thousands of dollars of savings for some of you, depending on the courses that you're looking at. So I've included information down below, the links, and what the coupon code is. So look in the show notes and you can actually go out, sign up, and take advantage of that 50% off discount. Now, it's only for the month of April. So what that means, if you don't want to miss out on hundreds or thousands of dollars worth of savings, you need to take advantage of it now, okay? Because it goes away the end of the month. Just like I went out to the website to buy my office chair. Oh, hey, it's on sale. But if I would have said, well, I think I'm going to wait for another month or so, I bet if I went out on the website a month from now, it would not be on sale and I would miss out. So that's why when you see opportunities, you need to take advantage of them before they go away and you miss it. So again, Sea Risk Academy has 50% discount on all of their courses during the month of April. Make sure to check out in the detailed show notes below for the link and the coupon code for you to be able to take advantage of that opportunity as well. So let's get back now to talking about, creating opportunity out of uncertainty. Now, as I said before, you can apply this both personally and professionally. And so let me just give you kind of a high level view of what this looks like. And then we're going to start to talk about some examples and some strategies that you can use to start doing this. Okay, now every time that an event happens, whatever that event may be, right now the biggest event that everybody is talking about is COVID-19 coronavirus, okay? But there's other events that happen. There's hurricanes. There's, a competitor of yours that issues a new marketing campaign. That's an event, right? And any time that an event happens, there is both a good and bad side to that particular event. The event itself is neutral. It is only a circumstance or condition, but depending on who you are and what your strategy is, that event could be a threat, which is a negative or a bad side of it, or an opportunity, okay, a good side. Now, those threats are what we normally talk about, the impact to our organizations or the impact to ourselves from threats is what we refer to as risk, okay? The opportunity side, the good side, the impact of the opportunity, we usually refer to as a reward. So that's why we talk about threats and opportunities together. Those are the events. The impacts of those events are the risk and reward side, okay? So now that we've kind of got that down, let me go through and talk a little bit, about how this actually applies. Because like I said, many of you have been trained to see the negative. And so let me give you a couple of examples of that. Auditors love to talk about fraud, right? And we are trained to try to look for people who are committing fraud. And so sometimes when we get in that mindset where we're looking for people that are trying to commit fraud, we're looking for people that are that are making mistakes or that are not following the policies or not following the controls, what we end up doing when we focus our attention on that area, guess what we see? Only that. Now, the reality is there's less than 5% of people probably in your organization that are committing fraud, going outside the policies, doing things like that. But because you see it so often, you think everyone is doing it. But the reality is they're not. 90 to 95% of the people are doing exactly what they should be doing and are really good people, okay? But it's because you have been trained to look for that and you're focusing your attention on that, that is all you see. And that goes back to psychology. It goes back to brain neurology. And we'll talk a little bit about that and I'll kind of weave this in here. But it's because when you're looking for something, the reticulating activating system in your brain actually tries to find more of the same thing. It's some of these cognitive biases and other stuff that I've talked before about, that when you're looking for something in particular, that is what our brain starts to look for to be able to help support our belief or view or story that we are saying about whatever the particular thing is where we are placing our attention. Okay? So, how do we change this, or what do we look at? Well, instead of always looking for the negative, look for the opportunities. And so, as an example, in this situation right now, you can tell, even though, as things are not back to normal yet, but they've kind of settled down a little bit from where they were a few weeks ago. And so what you've started to see now is, at first people were just focusing on the negative, 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 negative. And now people are actually starting to see some of the positives from this. So let me give you an example. Some of you may have even been saying this to yourself. Oh, I'm working so much. I wish I could spend more time with my family. Okay? Have you ever felt yourself saying that? A lot of you probably have. Well, guess what? You're not at work as much as you used to be. You're actually at home with your family. So if you've been saying those things to yourself in the past, oh, I wish I wasn't working so much. I wish I could spend more time with my family. That is an opportunity of the event or situation that we are in. You have the opportunity to spend more time with your family. Excuse me. And you should feel grateful for that. Okay. Now, what often happens though is, again, if we're used to seeing the negative and looking for what we don't have and are not grateful for what we have, I've heard this from people, and I'm guessing some of you may have been saying this too. In the past, you said, I'm working so much, I wish I could spend more time with my family. And now you're saying, oh my gosh, I wish I could go back to work because my family is driving me crazy. Okay. If you're saying that, you're still focusing on the negative, and you're always looking for something different than what you currently have. And if you're in that brain pattern, you need to stop. Because the problem is, if you continue down that pathway, you will never be happy. You will always be looking for something else. You'll be like my dad used to say, you would complain even if we hung you with a new rope. Now, I don't quite know exactly what that means, but that's a dadism, right? That he used to tell me. And it's about people that are never satisfied with where they are actually at. They're always complaining. They're always looking on the negative side. Now, why am I bringing this up to you? Because I've noticed this myself in my life. When we have been trained to look for these things in our profession, sometimes it starts carrying over into our personal life. And so if you feel yourself maybe being a little bit more negative than you should be, then it's time to stop and choose to create or find the opportunity in whatever situation or circumstance you happen to be in. That's where gratitude and stopping and smelling the roses and all of these different colloquialisms that people say, that's what we need to spend more time doing. And actually, this opportunity, the circumstances and events that we're in right now allow us to actually practice that. Okay. So you choose to see the opportunity or you choose to see the threat. Now it's up to you on which one you want to place more of your focus on. Now, again, I know a lot of you may be saying, oh, but we can't ignore the threats. And I totally get that. I totally agree with you. But once you have handled and taken some basic steps towards mitigating some of those threats and risks, you should be focusing much more of your attention on the opportunities. And in fact, again, to kind of get into the psychological side of it, if you are always worried or fearful or afraid of or anxious of something happening, actually that encourages the thing to happen more. And so the more we can be positive about the good things, the gratitude, the things that we want to have happen, those good things can then happen. Now, some of you may be saying, "Oh, well, what do you mean?" Well, just imagine here, because I'm sure you know someone like this. You'll probably a face will pop into your mind when I start talking about this. Have you ever met someone who just everything seems to go wrong for them? Everything bad that could happen to them always happens to them. They're just the unluckiest person in the world. So face probably popped into your head. Now, if you think about the words that those people use, about what they're saying, about what they are thinking about, they're thinking about the negative things. It's no wonder that all the negative things are happening to them. Okay? So again, if you're going down the negative path, I want you to stop and be grateful for what you have and start thinking, what are the opportunities from this? Okay? Because we get what we focus on. Okay, I'm going to say that again. We get what we focus on. So if you're focusing on negative, you're going to get negative. If you're focusing on positive, you're going to get positive. Okay, so now let's kind of, translate this into something that you can actually take some action on. Again, during this time, there may be some issues like this where, you've been saying to yourself, I want to spend more time with my family. Well, take the opportunity to spend more time with your family. Do some things that you normally wouldn't do. I was talking with an audit leader here this last week. He was talking about how, now as a family, they are coloring. They're actually pulling out color books and different things and sitting around the table and coloring while they're talking to each other. Now, a couple months ago, that wasn't happening, but there's an opportunity now for this man to actually connect more with his family and create memories and experiences with his family. Okay. And it's those memories and experiences that people are going to remember as well. So, do you want to take the opportunity to do things like color with your family, enjoy their time, maybe do some things that you've been putting off during this time and take the opportunity that this provides you? Or would you rather stay in your bed and pull the covers up over your head and think, oh, woe is me, I'm a victim, bad, 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 bad? Well, I'm going to tell you, get out of your bed. Okay. If that's where you're at, get out of your bed and actually take advantage of the opportunities. Okay. So what are some of the opportunities? Well, many of you, I'm sure, have been saying, oh gosh, I wish I could read more. I've been really wanting to take this training, or I've really wanted to be, to get this new skill or learn this new thing. Or maybe you've been saying, oh, you know what, I really want to get a new certification, but it's been so busy at work that I haven't had time to study. Now is exactly the time to take advantage of some of those opportunities. In fact, I'm doing the same thing. I'm reading more books. I've actually signed up for an intensive coaching program, that I'd kind of been putting off as well. Well, now I've got a little bit more time to be able to do that. So I'm actually investing, paying money, doing these things to improve myself. And you should be doing the same thing. Why? Because most of the people are the equivalent of hiding in their bed trying to get through this. The few people that actually see this as an opportunity, actually invest in themselves and do things differently, they're going to be further ahead when we come out the other end of this. So this is not the time for you to, sit back and boo-hoo, I'm a victim kind of thing, but actually take advantage of these opportunities. Now, what I'm going to tell you too, you're actually going to feel better, because guess what, folks, when you're having positive thoughts, you're having positive feelings. And when you have positive feelings, you have more positive thoughts. And you move yourself up, right? This emotional spiral. You're spiraling yourself up. Where instead, in times like this, people usually have a negative thought, which leads to a negative feeling, which leads to another negative thought, which leads to another negative feeling, and they spiral themselves down emotionally until they drop at the bottom in this fear and depression area. That's not where I want you to be. In fact, I don't want anybody to be fearful or depressed. I want to get you out of that. I want to get you up, up, up in the emotion area, okay? That's why I'm taking a little time out this week on talking about audit specific stuff to talk to you about this. Because this is one of the biggest opportunities for all of you to actually start making some changes. Here's another thing. A lot of you may be saying, "Oh, I'm locked away at home right now." Hey, so am I. But here's another thing I can tell you. Most of you have been going through life, at least for the last little while, kind of in a state of trance. Get up in the morning, brush your teeth, go to work, come home, get up, go to work, come home, get up, go to work, come home, right? And you've been really kind of stuck in this particular, rut that you're in. Now, the time at home, usually it takes 30 days at least to create a new habit or break an old habit a lot of times. And so this is going to be a time this is a new normal for long enough that if you want to create new habits, now is the perfect time to do it. If you've been saying, "Oh, I don't have enough time to exercise," now's the time to do it. You actually have the time. Your pattern has been interrupted, and you can create new habits now. Okay? So I'm going to wrap up for this week, but I want to leave you with a couple of questions for you to ask yourself. Because, most of the time when something happens, and maybe it's something we didn't really want to have happen, right? Nobody around the world was saying, "Oh, I hope that there's this, pandemic virus so I don't have to go to work." Nobody was saying that. In fact, nobody really wants that. But when these events happen, remember, they are neutral. And it's our opinion and how we look at it. Are we going to let this be a threat to us, or are we going to let this be an opportunity? So here's a couple questions to ask yourself when you get in situations like this. How can this be good for me? Okay, so think about that. How can this be good for me? The situation that you're in right now, whatever event you may be going through, stop and ask yourself, how can this be good for me? Okay, because you want to start looking at the good and the opportunity from each of these events. Another question that you can ask, what is the opportunity in this? Because I will tell you, my friends, there is opportunity in everything. Okay, so let me tell you that again. What is the opportunity in this? And the more you focus on those, the more you try to find the positive, and the more you try to take advantage of the opportunities that your current situation leaves you with, the more grateful that you are, the more happy you're actually going to be. I know it. I promise you, if you'll just go out and do it. So with that, my friends, I'm going to sign off. But remember, try to stay positive. Think about what the good is in this for you, and then just go out and do it. Get up out of your bed. Don't play victim, but actually go out, seize the day, carpe diem, and take advantage of this, because this is a time for you to grow, to create new habits, and to take advantage of the opportunities that are out there. And with that, my friends, I'll catch you on a future episode of Jamming with Jason. And that's a wrap. Thanks for listening to today's episode of Jamming with Jason. Keep on rocking in the audit world. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you later on the next show. If you'd like to earn continuing professional education for listening to today's episode, head on over to C-Risk Academy at ondemand.criskacademy.com. And that's C as in the letter C, riskacademy.com. Not only do you get a CPE certificate, but you also will have access to the video version of today's show. The views and opinions expressed on this show are that of the individuals and not of their respective organizations.